Gragas here to match an XP. Now even as Irrelevant is running down Wonder.
Oh, no.
The Team Heretics top laner trying to get out, but he gets killed. Name him Relevant already. It's been so every single day.
Upside is still top, okay? He's also I'm watching him, okay? There's one shot.
We've got a spiraling despair onto Isma. It kills Niski in the meantime, but Irrelevant, and now FLICKR dead.
Nice.
Gimme.
Welcome back to the LEC. I'm here with DOS. Congratulations on a reverse sweep. How does it feel to get that best of 3 out the way?
Well, I think since we've been losing a lot, it's really good for the team to finally get a win, and then 2 wins actually. Because I think, I'm not sure, like our last 7 games or something haven't been the same. I think we lost last 7. So I think definitely for the team mood, like just getting a few wins is really good.
All right, I gave you the happy question. Here comes the hard one. What in the world happened this series? It looked tough. You guys had consistently 10k gold lead, couldn't finish the game. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, so game 2, I think you're referring to, where we were super ahead, but we didn't really manage to close out the game. I think, honestly, with the draft that we had, it's not the easiest game to close out unless we actually like synchronize our cooldowns when we siege turrets, like siege inhibitor on bot, for example. We ended up using like Maokai ult without having Talia ult. It's like, I think if we actually synchronized our cooldowns, then we were just like 1-shot Sinsaw with no flash or something, and then it would have looked a lot cleaner.
So it was small mechanical mistakes that obviously can be fixed for the next series to come on. Now, between 4.1 and 4.2, has anything changed particularly for you in the bot lane as a support player?
I think, honestly, most patches doesn't really affect support too much. I think mostly it affects like whatever champs they play on top side, maybe even ADCs. ADCs are like sometimes affected a bit as well. And then support is more of a role where just like it's really conditional, like you adapt to whatever your team needs or like what your ADC needs or something. So I think for support didn't change too much, but definitely for other roles.
Absolutely, and talking about roles, who do you think deserves key player of the game for this one?
Ooh.
Because I feel like he did have a pretty rock-solid performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Joel or Irrelevant gets the MVP, I'll perma here about him saying how good he is.
Well, prepare your eardrums, because Irrelevant is the key player of the series.
Oh my god.
Pretty good performance by him. Now,
I mean, he did get the solo kill, so.
On Malphite as well. Now, really quick question right here. Is the performance of today concerning moving on to the series versus Fnatic?
I think my individual performance game 1 was a bit concerning. The rest was okay-ish. I think as a team, like our whole way of playing the game, like our calling is becoming a lot better. I feel like we are more on the same page now than we were before. But obviously, like the mechanical part is not really there, and we can like push it a bit more. But I think honestly, it's looking good in my mind.
All right, looking forward to seeing you brushing off those mechanical skills when you go up against Fnatic. Congratulations again on the reverse sweep and moving forward. And we're going to toss it over to Laure.
Thank you, Trouble. We have a second elimination game here on our hands as Mad Lions Koi will face off against GIANTX in our second series of the days. And I want to talk about Mad Lions Koi at first, shall we? Expectations versus reality. I'm going to expose the entirety of the broadcast once again and say that most of the people placed them at the bottom of the expected standings. And, well, they're here in playoffs, fighting for their life still, but they're in playoffs.
Yeah, I think expectations were really low of this team in the beginning. A lot of people thought that this looks like... and they've really managed to surpass those expectations. I also think that while doing so, they have been incredibly entertaining. One of my main reasons for this, well, here's my tier list. Where are they? They're at the bottom.
At the bottom.
Yeah,
with
don't mind. Don't worry about Max Verstappen. It's an entire different joke. Let's not do it right now. Anyways, they've been very, very entertaining to watch. I think a lot of it comes from the fact that they're willing to just send it, be super fast-paced, but also bring a range of different variety in their champions.
I mean, when it comes to Mad Lions Koi,
like basically I would say, right, as you said, everyone was put them lowest because it's a team that just came with like 4 rookies, right, as you can see also. I didn't put them D though, I didn't really feel like they're...
Not a good look on you guys.
But my D was basically my C tier because I had to fit in, so we're kind of in the same boat.
I don't want you making excuses for yourself. You can stand by it and say that maybe no, but they surprised everyone. And I think it's fair, but Trymbi, you've been in this rookie situation. They know each other. They've been playing together for a year. They were at the top of the ARL, facing off against KC last year in the Masters finals. You've been in this rookie position. What pushes rookies to perform that good?
I mean, first of all, right, the good performances, and they got those during the regular split, and even now, even though they lost to Fnatic, it was still a performance that, you know, should be like praised, because I think Fnatic actually had to struggle quite a bit in order to win those games, and that showcases that even though they're like new team to the league, they still know how to make use of themselves when they come together, you know, in this team right now.
And we've heard of the players, but not the man behind the players. And earlier, Trouble checked in with Mad Lions coach Melzet. So let's see what he had to say about the team.
Thank you, Laure. Melzet, thank you so much for joining me for the interview. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Yes.
All right, now, ahead of your best-of-3 series versus GIANTX, this is a question that I have also asked Dylan, because he has suffered with the same problem. Your players are just too creative. Their champion pools are just too vast. So how do you function as a team and as a coach to sort of put everything in order before a draft with so many options in your hands?
Usually we have the pick that we practice during the week, even the crazy picks. So when it comes for preparation for the draft meeting, we usually spoke how involved those picks in the draft, and then usually it's not a surprise for me. But if it came in the middle of a drafting official match, probably I will choose between how confident he is and if he's a good pick or not in the draft.
So when it comes to just practice and Myrwn says, hey, I want to play Soraka top, you allow him that flexibility in the practice as well.
Yes.
But when it comes to the official, as you said, if he says, coach, trust, Soraka top here, would you potentially give him the chance to first time it on stage?
If for me makes sense, like I see the angle good, yes. If not, no, he won't be allowed.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
And good luck in your best of 3 versus GIANTX and all the crazy picks. Over to you, Laure.
Thank you so much, Trouble. Amazing to hear from the coach finally, and also the confidence that he has for his players, picking these strange picks usually that have been not working so much maybe sometimes, but it's going to be interesting to see what they toss in GIANTX's face today, as I want to say they sneaked their way into play-ins. We saw good faith on the side of GIANTX. Was it enough though? Because when you look at the showing they had against G2 last week, no, we don't want to see any of this again.
I think it's gotten a bit worse for GX, and it didn't really help that they drafted that Ezreal Yuumi bot lane 2 times in a row. I think the thing that made them strong when they did look strong was the fact that IgNar was on a strong facilitating champion that allowed them to play aggressive through bot lane, something that Patrik didn't necessarily always have with Limit, but the fact that he could always go for a Draven, a Kalista, and try and win lane with this kind of approach. But you can see it here with the late game. It's just been rough for GX when things don't work out for them.
I mean, that's the thing, Trymbi, what happens? Because we saw in the first stages of the game against G2, for instance, last week, they have something going. They dropped the ball in main game. How do you explain this?
Well, I mean, first game, right, they actually had an advantages, right, that they needed to have in order to win against G2. But then when it comes to mid game, I think we even had it in stats, right? After minute 10, they're like one of the worst teams that actually, like, they just don't have any, like, actual, like, gold advantages after, because they're just throwing away the games during that mid game, you know, during that transition from early to mid game. And today, I think it will be crucial, especially for the combination of both Peach and IgNar to actually make it work. Because as we could see, right, on that Yuumi, it felt like it was not his comfort choice in a sense. I'm sure they practiced it and it looked good, but on the other hand, that's not how they actually won games in the regular split.
No, because this is kind of how, well, they didn't win this game, but it looked good in the beginning.
Yeah.
And they won against G2 in the early game on that skirmish, but it's once again the fact that IgNar and Peach is on something where they can skirmish together. And it's not just limited to this game alone. It goes all the way back to when IgNar was playing on Energy as well. This is a guy that just needs facilitation or needs a champion where he's allowed to engage on. He looked great on the Blitzcrank in the beginning. His Rakan's been fine as well. Even the Alistar he brings up, he needs to be on a champion where he can pull the team forward, not where he's sitting in the back.
Yeah, and right now it's all gonna be... You're basically dealing with a team that is mostly, I think, the most proactive team in like LEC when it comes to MDK, maybe like outside of G2, right? They're gonna be aggressive. They're gonna make sure that you have to match them, otherwise they'll just get free leads, and that's something that I really want to see from like both Peach and IgNar, to just pick comfort champs, the champs that they can actually fight back, because we saw it from IgNar and Peach. They can, I think they can actually match it, you know, maybe MDK looked better, but if they do so, I think it's gonna be a great show.
And IgNar, I mean, he had a long career and he's been here for a while, and before playoffs, he reflected on his motivation for 2024. Let's check it out.
To be honest, my motivation to win right now is, maybe you can think about this can be weird, but to be honest, I know my retirement is not that far, and then I'm just fighting for my best, like legacy, or maybe just memory or something for my teammate. At this point, I don't play that much myself, to be honest, but like when I see my teammate or when I see the organization really passionate about the game, I want to win for them. So I don't know, at this point, long time ago, I was playing myself a lot, motivation myself a lot. But at this point, for my fans and then for my teammate, for my organization, I think that's my motivation.
IgNar's motivation for his fans and for his teammates. Hopefully he is motivated not to play Yuumi, because I heard that happened while I was away. And I can only say, sorry guys, I wasn't here to make sure that she wasn't picked.
Yeah, man. How could you leave the fans like this?
I let them down. My motivation is the fans, and this time I have let them down, really. It's true.
But now you're back.
I am back.
This is Medic.
That's Vedi.
And we're here to cover GIANTX versus Mad Lions Koi. One of these teams will end their winter split. The other will go on to face Vitality on Monday. And they're now making their way out onto the stage. Let's see what they prepared for us this week, because yes, Medic, we did see Yuumi last week. There was a lot of criticism towards the Yuumi.
You can also criticize.
I mean, it was one of those things where, I don't think that the Yuumi pick was necessarily the problem, but do I think that there could have been better champions for IgNar that have given GIANTX more agency?
Yeah, especially since he wanted to spend so much of the game not attached to anyone anyway.
That's also true, yeah. But we'll see. They've had now time to prep. They've recognized from their mistakes. And for both these teams, they went 0-2 last week. So a lot of going back to the drawing board for both lineups.
I think MDK did have a better performance versus Fnatic than GIANTX had against G2. They had some strong early games. Those games were very messy, which seems to be the state of the league at the moment, or at least of the games we've watched so far today. Mad Lions Koi, though, on the blue side, will get rid of the Maokai, and Varus taken away by GIANTX.
I'm curious as to how Mad Lions rate the brand. Last week against Fnatic...
I mean, it's better now they've added Koi on the end.
You're so annoying. We've been 5 seconds. It took you 5 seconds. GIANTX are actually going to ban away the brand that I was just talking about. The Kalesta are going to be taken alongside. So some of these big picks that were very important in the Mad Lions Fnatic series yesterday are going to be removed. We're going to be moving down the ladder in terms of the AD carry prioritization. I wonder if something like the Xayah Rakan will be something that's prioritized. We saw Supa and Alvaro during the regular season have some great performances on that duo in particular. Or perhaps the Aphelios is something that they want to stick to. We'll see what direction they go. Ivan! We did see one game from Elyoya during the regular set. I do believe they lost that game.
Yeah, I think so too.
Recollection.
Yeah. Instead, actually, it looks like it might be... I mean, they're just going through a couple of AD carries. Senna locked in for Supa.
I think this champ is so strong, man.
Yeah, really
G2 is taking advantage of the strength of the pick last week. They were combining along with the Hui. The scaling and the range from that duo was absolutely crazy. With Maokai banned away, you imagine things like Nautilus also rise in priority here, something that we've been seeing paired up alongside the Senna very commonly in the bot side of the map.
You can even look for things like Senna Seraphine if you just want to go for a farming, scaling bot lane. You could, if you are Mad Lions Koi.
Obviously a little weaker after the double support changes.
Yeah, but you can still just scale up. Senna can just be a true support. from time to time. You can play that true fasting Senna. Azir and Sejuani, though, locked in for GIANTX. I like what I'm seeing for Peach in the jungle, giving him something that has agency, that can find ganks early on, is one of the ways that GIANTX can pick up wins. And Jackie's on the Azir. We saw him a lot on the Nico early on in the split. Hasn't played Azir yet in playoffs, only the Army and Silas games, but Azir just very strong as a pick generally at the moment.
Also something he went to a lot during the regular season, right? Something that he'd lean on. But Azir plus Sejuani is a very old school combo. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a Renekton here, it'd be like last year. Also,
or like 2018,
yeah,
2017.
Yeah. Often you'll pair that Sejuani with these melee AD carry champions, but with the Karma locked in, very curious as to where they actually put this. Well, they put it alongside the Senna in bot lane for a very poke-heavy, long-range scaling. They could even funnel the gold into the Karma and allow Senna to act as that support, or will they move the Karma to mid or top? She's a very flexible champion right now, has a lot of versatility, so I'm very curious as to what.
I think if you're Mad Lions Koi, you get rid of anything that can pressure the Senna and the Karma in bottom lane here. You could even look towards banning out Ashe if you want, Caitlyn as well, just something that has that range that can try and match into your push. You could get rid of Heimerdinger as well if you think IgNar might pick that up, but you have such a powerful pushing bot lane, and Mad Lions Koi have shown us that they like to play through bot. They like to get Alvaro and Supa ahead, and Elyoya can spend his time down there. It's going to be very, Blitzcrank as well stops the ability to engage on the Senna Karma, so sure. I really like this Mad Lions Koi already. I think they've got a super strong draft.
GIANTX, they are concerned about the flexibility of this Karma. Haven't quite committed to where it's going to yet, but they do know that Zac Top has been prevalent as an answer into the K'Sante, and Myrwn did showcase that so already last week. With the Taliyah now banned away as well, they are kind of hedging their bets. They're just removing some powerful picks like Vi plus Taliyah is an incredibly powerful mid-jungle duo that they do not want to have to deal with. But still a lot of mid-lane options available. Fresskowy this split has played a decent number of Nico. We've also seen him bring out the LeBlanc. I think LeBlanc Vi can also be a very powerful mid-jungle duo if they want to try and find advantages early. Akali was something that we did see from him last week that I think is very good into the Azir matchup. And if GIANTX do choose to go for this, well, I say immobile in the sense that she has to plant herself when she uses her ultimate. Yeah. Yes, she doesn't have any innate dashes, and they're going to go for it. So Patrik with the misfortune, something that we haven't seen from him so far this winter. I believe we did see a game of it from Upset during the regular season.
I was away for 2.5 weeks.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
I'm still thinking about whale sharks, I'm going to be honest. So.
Yeah, I mean, the stats on our screen are confirming it as well. I do remember it popping up once in the regular season. So, I mean, it's a strong team fighter. You look at GIANTX's composition, very standard front to back. Yep. Great team fight composition. Okay. They can pair this up with the Rakan if they want a little bit more engage. They can also go for an Enchanter support if they want to add a little bit more range. They are hovering the Yuumi from last week. Are they going to lock this one in? Are they going to showcase that they're not wrong, it's the kids who are wrong?
Don't do it, IgNar. Come on, man. Come on.
What are we looking at?
Where's the further battle, Leona? There we go. Something a little bit more aggressive. As the Alistar locked in for IgNar, gives them a bit more engage potential. It is Karma mid. Fresskowy is going to take that. Nautilus was pushed into the support role. Gwen into K'Sante, something we see relatively often. Also gives you a bit more magic damage threat from the Mad Lions Koi lineup. Karma does do a lot with Malignance because you can get her R up, her ultimate up.
Do not underestimate Karma's damage. Her poke is scary.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing about Malignance is just mantras up so often, right? And so that Q can be incredibly devastating. I look at Mad Lion Koi's scaling and it's crazy. You've got a Gwen in a side lane who should, in theory, be able to outmatch the K'Sante. I know that with the new itemization that has changed how K'Sante has been able to handle some of these more scaling carries in the side, but even still, I want to give that edge towards the Gwen. You've also got Senna. As the game goes on, she's only going to get stronger, and compared to a Misfortune, I feel like that it is going to go in the Senna's favor. But when you kind of look at the composition as a whole, GIANTX have a very simple and straightforward comp to execute. Yep. Front to back, great team fighting, a lot of AoE damage, and just a really easy way of playing around these neutral objectives, where I think there's a little bit more nuance involved for the side of Mad Lions Koi.
Definitely agree with you there, Betty. No true tank as well on the side of Mad Lions Koi. Makes it a little bit easier for that MF to go lethality route and actually burst through players rather than having to try and chip away at someone like an Ornn, who would be a little bit more difficult to deal with. Of course, you have the Azir's DPS as well to back it up on the side of GIANTX. An elimination game between these two teams, or elimination series at least. First to two will make it through to face Vitality on Monday, I believe.
Tomorrow we have our best of 5 between G2 and BDS.
That we do.
So give the teams the extra day to prep in anticipation of that best of 3.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Of course, the support. A lot of support so far this split from Mad Koi.
Voice.
Really working those in, huh? First cast back and you're like, huh.
Have to just test the waters a little bit,
Test
you know?
the waters.
And like you would with the Koi.
Would you use a Koi to test waters?
Well, I've told the student already. You wouldn't use any of your 3 best Kois, your A Koi, your B Koi, or your C Koi, but you might use your 4th best Koi, which would be your D Koi, to test how good the water was.
That doesn't make any sense. Don't applaud that. That doesn't. How would you use a decoy to test the quality of water?
Because if it's poisoned, you throw in your decoy. It's like, obviously there's Koi gang wars happening here. The Koi and the carp are fighting. It's like a West Side Story all over again.
All right, well, jungle pathing.
I
know that you're native of the sea. How familiar are you with the jungle?
Not that familiar. I like playing Brand.
Oh, fair.
In Platinum.
Well, both going to start towards the top side of the map and path towards bot. Now, of course, you do have a few options. You can, of course, skip your top side camp. Some people will do that red into like bot side and then path back up towards. Some will start on their Raptors to make sure they can guarantee those Raptors. But it seems that neither are too worried about any potential invades. We'll look at how this early priority could also influence potential invades. You see some deep vision already invested from the side of Mad Lions Koi onto their blue buff. So they're going to recognize when Peach is in the area. But already with this push in bot lane, there's an opportunity for Mad Lions Koi to actually contest that blue buff if they want to, especially with the push that they have in mid as well. Karma has a huge amount of wave clear in the early game and can really push her opponents around. So let's see what Elyoya decides to do. Is the level 2 going to come through very, very soon from Mad Lions Koi's bot lane. The level 3 also going to be secured for Elyoya.
And Peach about half a camp behind in terms of jungle clear. Importantly, IgNar has gone Glacial Augment on the Alistar, means he won't be that tanky early game. You really have to wait until you get your Unbreakable Will before you are that big tanky cow. The Glacial Augment helps you in slowing your opponents, reducing damage, but not like an Aftershock where you can go in and just tank for days. So if a fight does erupt around that blue buff, as it might, with Elyoya pushing in, Alvaro and Supa first to move. Big minion wave stacked up here as well. Patrik and IgNar need to deal with that. Patrik still in level 1. Peach coming across. Alvaro is going to land the hook, gets the aftershock. There's the root as well. Peach tries to jump away. Supa will just be able to get a couple of autos down as Peach is forced out of his jungle.
So exactly as we talked about, Elyoya utilizing the priority that he has in both mid and bot to set up for this invade, and all of this comes off the back of that early ward that was dropped onto the blue buff. Recognizing that Peach choosing not to start on this side of the map gives Elyoya a clear advantage in the jungle where he can now secure 2 camps, and GIANTX can't afford to do anything about it. That would be a lot of farm lost for both Patrik and IgNar, and it's debatable if they would even win out on the straight up 3 versus 3, so they choose not to go for it, and now this wave is in a bit of an awkward spot because they know that Elyoya is hovering around the bot side of the map. Their jungler is nowhere near them right now, and if they overstep, there's a real opportunity for Mad Lions to engage, especially with the level advantage that they have over Patrik right now.
So Peach is coming down towards this bottom side of the map, but he'll spot that the Scuttle Crab's been taken. Elyoya is going across towards his red and his Krugs. Peach hasn't got a camp to farm apart from topside Scuttle. Could look for an invade here, will do so. Smite not available for Elyoya. Peach steps in, doesn't spot the red, so Elyoya should be able to take it before Peach gets there. Now Peach has to dash across the wall. The chase on with Vault Breaker. Elyoya decides against it, doesn't need to go any further. Peach so far behind in this early game.
But that presence does alleviate pressure from the bot side of the map. This means that Patrik and IgNar can actually get this push in underneath the tower, and they don't have to be as afraid of stepping up. But the damage is already being done. It's not a significant gold lead, but in terms of experience, you can see the advantage being gained for this Mad Lions bot lane. They're going to tick over to level 4 very, very soon. And they've got the wave in such a nice spot. So now, even without the presence of Elyoya, Supa and Alvaro are very, very happy and comfortable, while their jungler will clear the top side of the map. And now you start to like shift this focus up towards the top side, because now you're all like, oh, okay, Myrwn and Odoamne, how concerned are they about any potential ganks, knowing that the junglers are likely to be on that side?
Obviously Patrik and IgNar here having to try and get that wave in, but back away from Supa and Alvaro. Fresskowy stepping into Peach's topside jungle, seeing if perhaps he can be a bit of a nuisance. Jackie's is going to get rooted up, knocked up with a Vault Breaker, but can dash across the wall. Elyoya skipped his topside camps to try and get in here. Could try and take away the Krugs, or even look towards Odoamne in the top lane as Jackie's falls lower. Does still have the flash, doesn't need it yet. couple of biscuits in his pockets. He can chomp through those and heal up a little bit in the lane. Odoamne now, with a very sticky wicket of a lane state, has popped the Ghost. No flash on him. Elyoya, Vault Breaker, Pathmaker out, pulls him under the tower, and Elyoya will just force Odoamne away. Wave's going to get shoved in. Odo will have to TP back in here to catch this cannon wave.
Peach is on the bot side of the map. You expect Elyoya to go towards the grub, so my expectation is that Peach should cross-map this for the Dragon. Ideally, you want to trade these objectives at around a similar time, because it can easily set you up for a second Dragon contest, especially if that's where Mad Lion's priority is.
The risk for Peach, though, is if he goes to the Dragon right now, his bot lane has only just had a chance to reset because they had to get the wave in. So Supa and Alvaro are back in the lane. Peach would be soloing a Drake. You can see Alvaro realizes that's still a possibility, walks across, pings over on the Dragon, and now can step into that river to make sure that Peach is not trying to take it away.
The other problem is Jackie just doesn't have the HP to contest, right? Fresskowy with full control over this wave right now. The clear health advantage, you're right. If Peach did try and cross-map that, it would have posed a lot of potential problems, even if they did have the numbers advantage.
Do you think it's fitting that a player called Peach plays for a team called Giant?
No, why
we just need a player called James as well, and then it'll be... You have James and the Giant, ex-Peach.
How does your brain work?
This is jet lag brain, man, right now.
At first I thought you were talking about the Beanstalk, Jack and the Beanstalk, and I was like, he's got the wrong story in his head. He's going to make a fool of himself, and then you brought it all together.
Me and Roald Dahl were like that, you know?
Well, the Dragon is up. That, we imagine, is going to be the next major objective that these teams look to contest over. And with this wave slowly pushing back in the favor of Mad Lion's Koi, they should be able to set up for it. Given that Fresskowy should maintain control over this mid wave, it has invested the TP now. The first bases have been completed. So let's see, what's Elyoya up to?
He's already level 6 here. Just going to clear out the vision. Peach forced away from this topside Scuttle Crab. And across the board, this is a great start for MDK. You know, you're 1,000 gold ahead, 7 minutes in the game. You have 20 stacks on Supa, who is getting easier stacks because he's playing into an Alistar lane. So you've got that melee matchup that you can just keep autoing. Elyoya has a lead in the jungle. You're even-ish in mid. You have a lead in AD carry, 20 CS there. It's a very strong start for them. And we talked about the fact they'll scale up well through this game as well. MDK should be pretty happy with the state of affairs. GIANTX obviously not too far in arrears, and they do have scaling in the form of Azir and MF to a degree, but not one of the strongest scaling AD carries in the game.
I mean, everyone's experienced that late game multi-man MF ultimate, right? Like that. We don't want to underestimate the value of that damage, but it's all about whether or not you can land it. You've got to plant your feet. You've got to make sure that the spacing is good, and your CC's got to connect. And there is definitely some great setup. Patrik in a bit of danger there for Alvaro.
Oh, he's going forward. We'll look for the stun here onto Alvaro. You can see Peach on his way as well. Alvaro flashes the Glacial Prism. Supa caught up in the slow, but able to escape. IgNar is low here. Does still have the flash, but Supa flashes forward. Counter flash from IgNar. Elyoya now on his way to join the fray. Patrik has a flash of his own if he needs to invest it, and will do so wisely. As Elyoya steps into this bot side jungle. Fresskowy's moved his way across. Peach using the Gromp as a bit of a body block. Cease and desist onto Patrik. No flash on him, remember, as Fresskowy's going to get stunned up. But the root on Patrik's enough for Senna to secure the kill. A super shot there by the MDK AD carry.
Nice first blood from Mad Lion's Koi. Punishing the all-in from IgNar and responding well to the potential gank from Peach. Supa, the only reason why he had to burn his flash was because he saw a kill opportunity onto IgNar. And they were end up... And, I mean, it ended up not even being a kill onto IgNar. They found that kill onto Patrik. The root coming out from the Senna, that is what Patrik was forced to flash away from. And that's what he was so concerned about. And so to this point, you'll see he feels like, oh, I don't need to flash, but there, that root, that's what he has to flash away. He realizes if it connects, he's going to lose his life. And then just really great positioning from the mid-jungler here from Mad Lions, already on the move towards the bot side of the map. That continued push that Fresskowy have, making it so much easier for him to rotate down. And just a great demonstration of how Mad Lion's Koi are using their priority very, very well. First Dragon should go in favor of Mad Lion's Koi here. Chose to reset. Now they're making their way back out onto the map. Is this an objective that they want to try and contest already? Or instead do they want to wait a little bit longer? I
mean, the grubbies are up in 20 seconds, and it's a veritable buffet for Elyoya if he goes across there.
It is.
6 grubs, that's all you can eat, if I've ever heard it, Vedi. I'm going to have the owners of the shop coming across being like, excuse me, sir, please slow down. It's too much grub for you right now. Sorry, I've channeled my inner hysterics there for a moment.
It reminds me of, it's Timon and Pumbaa, right? The grub that they have.
Yes.
And it's crazy how delicious those insects looked in that movie.
Insects are eaten in a lot of the world. Very good source of protein, Vedi.
That's good. That's
Shouldn't
what my
look
mother
down your
always
nose
said.
at insects unless they're on the floor, in which case you do have to look down your nose to see them.
Thank you, Vedi.
They're the grubs.
Educational.
Gonna get taken.
Yeah, so they're foregoing the dragon. Mad Lion's Core's priority is on this top side of the map. The beauty of having so much push in the other game is you get so much extra value out of these grubs, right? Because you just chip away at those towers ever so slightly more. I see only 2 plates have been taken so far, 1 top lane, 1 bot lane. Now the dragon, can it finally be started by Peach? Nope, he's not going to gamble it.
Again, it's about prio, right? Like, they don't know Elyoya's on the grubs, they can assume, but they don't have vision. But Fresskowy can always get mid-prio. Supa and Alvaro have pushed in the bot lane, so that has to be answered by Patrik and IgNar. And now you're starting up the Drake, but Elyoya does have the time to get across here. Obviously, you get the notification when those grubs have been taken, all 3 of them at least. So Peach starts it up, but it's going to be difficult.
Notice how Mad Lion's Koi abandoned bots to move up towards the top side of the river so they can move into the river with Fresskowy. That basically guarantees equal numbers while Elyoya makes his way over.
Fresskowy might be caught out. Hook's going in. Jackies tries to land the knockback onto Fresskowy, has to burn the flash. Patrik low, cease and desist on him once again, and the MF is just culled from the back of the fight. Now Fresskowy is going to join the fray. Another hook connects onto Jackies, who has no flash of his own, and it's 2 quick kills to MDK.
A well-executed fight from Mad Lion's Koi. Jackies invests his ultimate to try and pick Fresskowy off, but he flashes out of the way to avoid that collapse. Meanwhile, the rest of Mad Lion's Koi is engaging onto Patrik. Eliminating one of the big damage sources right from the get-go makes this fight an easy one for Mad Lion's Koi. So far, an incredibly clean game from Mad, as they've dominated the early game in terms of their priority. They've controlled the jungle, and they've been able to secure every single neutral objective. We're going to look back at this engage, and it's Fresskowy who looks caught out initially, but then as the rest of Giants try to collapse, that is when Mad Lion's Koi go for the punish, and it's just a single target lockdown onto Patrik. He loses his life, and then they just chase the remaining members of GIANTX. They get themselves another kill, converted into the dragon. Incredibly clean play so far. They've only lost a plate in top lane. Outside of that, this has been a perfect early game for Mad Lion's Koi.
Mad Lions have had their taste of the terrestrial with the grubs. Now they're having their taste of the aquatic. Patrik Star constantly getting focused down in these fights. They say in the jungle the lion sleeps, but it doesn't seem to be right now, Betty.
It's true.
I've been storing these up for like 2 weeks.
You literally had 2 weeks off, and you were just like, you wrote a little notepad, and you were just like,
Yeah, alongside my proposal lines, which is the puns I was going to use in the LEC.
So you started those, that's how you started your proposal.
Yeah.
She's like, what? And you're like, oh, wrong book, sorry. Herald spawning, 45 seconds. It's okay, Hysterics is my new favorite now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
I love his accent.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah, it's got a lot of energy. He also says funny things, usually about things that I don't understand.
Hysterics has this way of just going down like 4 different permutations of an idea and giving you the end result, but not showing his working.
It's true.
To how he got there.
It's truly
So
a
it's an
masterclass.
enjoyable experience.
You go on a journey.
Almost 14 minutes on the clock, 3,000 gold lead for MDK, and GIANTX have looked very lacking so far in terms of ability to do anything on the map. Alvaro going forward, Peach going to get locked up. Alvaro taking the shortcut with the hook, and Supa takes the kill.
I like
MDK's, yeah, the single target lockdown is sublime so far. Jackie's forced away, no flash on him, but he can just dash to the safety of that bush.
I mean, you highlighted it in the play, but just the use of the hook to close the gap, to connect the ultimate, to then allow the Senna to land the root, to then have the damage come in from Karma, it was clean. I liked it a lot. Very well done.
And this is the problem for GIANTX as well. As soon as they step up, Elyoya's there. Someone's always there to force them away from the tower. The grub's obviously helping out. Those little void mites going to help chip away at this turret, but there's no space for GIANTX on the map. Every time they step into any area of darkness, they're met with 2 or 3 members of MDK. Next up, the Rift Herald, you have to assume, 2.5 minutes on the next Drake, and you can see Alvaro and Elyoya just teaming up. They'll path through mid together. At the moment, Supa has a lot of protection from that bottom side of the map. You can see the control ward and a couple of extra wards, keeping him safe if he pushes forward. Alvaro now pathing towards bot, deciding that Elyoya can do the Rift Herald by himself, it seems.
I mean, they still have control of the top. There is a 0 gold difference. Well,
it's 12 now.
Okay, yes, there's 12.
26! Kanik Rukon has turned this top lane around, Vedi.
Effectively neutral in top lane.
If I gave you 26 gold, and then I took it away. You wouldn't say that was effectively neutral.
Well, I would, because if you gave me the 26
okay,
and then asked for it back,
I worded that poorly.
Haha!
You were technically correct.
Now, the cross map is happening from GIANTX. They will steal away a red buff, which consequentially, Mad Lions not going to be too upset about, but at the very least, it's something back for GIANTX. They are kind of scaling towards those team fights. They're hoping that they can get a nice 5 versus 5, but at the rate at which Mad Lions Core is accelerating this game, like this Senna is stacking now. What is that, 49 that I see?
It is 49 stacks and 2 items already. Opportunity and the Yumu's Ghostblade complete. The Rift Out charges in. Elyoya is taking his driving lessons. They'll wait for it to walk past the turret before they pick it up to make sure you can drive it into the second one.
Play.
Might's helping out as well. The root's going to land here onto Peach. The Herald charges in and Peach is locked up. IgNar trying to dive into the backline. Not a lot of damage coming out from Patrik with that bullet time. Odoamne TP's in. Elyoya trying to get away from the Cassante. Ghosting forward. Jackie's dashes in as well. Elyoya should be able to trade with Cassante here. Can just Vault Breaker away, but the Q3 knocks him back. Alvaro's killing Jackie's off towards the top side. All the meanwhile, Myrwn is just taking towers. Odoamne led them all on a merry chase, but in the end, the rest of MDK are able to collapse. Ignite now ticking onto Elyoya. Odoamne trying to trade back. Oh, he gets hurt back. Elyoya going back onto IgNar. Blast going away for the Alistar, not in time. 2 kills to Alvaro, and Patrik has nowhere to go. MDK 8-0 up, Vedi.
They didn't lose a single member in a 4 versus 5. An incredibly impressive team fight from Mad Lions Koi. The shielding, the healing, absolutely incredible. Myrwn looking to get another tower top, and I think he's going to get it. There's nothing that Peach can do to lock him down. Is he going to give up? Yeah, he's going to be forced to. Thumbs up from Myrwn. That's a 7k gold lead 17 minutes in.
And a Drake up for them in 2 seconds' time. They need to clear out a little bit of this vision, but they are so far ahead. Locket complete on Alvaro, who's gone Solstice Slay as a support item. Malignant's already complete on Fresskowy. Item and a half for Elyoya. Myrwn on his way to 2, probably sitting on about a K and a half after taking those towers in the top lane. Gets a Haunting Guise and some Ionian boots. And you can see GIANTX don't even really want to play around the Drake. They know that's where MDK are going to be, so they overload the top side to make sure that Jackies can get this push in. Objective Bounties, the name of the game. I'm more of an Objective Snickers sort of man, but the coconut in the Bounties doesn't really agree with me.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for GIANTX, they're not going to have much of a choice as to which delicacy they go after as Mad Lions Koi continue their assault. They have a wave in bot lane, they continue to push. They're setting up with the 4-1 already. Myrwn sieging down the mid lane tower that's already gone. They're looking after the base.
And Jackies has no TP and they know that.
Nice ultimate there to clear out as much of the wave as possible.
Gets most of it. Alvaro getting pulled back here. They're going to land a knock-up. Cease and desist onto Patrik, and Myrwn comes in from the side. IgNar now running for hills. Odo's already down. That Cassante nowhere near as tanky as he would be later in the game. MDK have another minion wave pushing in. It's 10-0. It's a 6,000 gold lead, Vedi. And this is looking mighty one-sided.
They're making it look easy from start to finish. They have just dominated, already sieging onto the inhibitor towers. Mad Lions Koi looking to do what T1 did to them. They're going to back away for now, though.
About 2 minutes too late.
Yeah, they're going to back away, though. GIANTX left wanting. Very few options for them right now. The deficit that they find themselves in, unless they get some sort of miracle fight. But even then, I think that with the amount of utility on the side of Mad Lions Koi, you've got a shield on the passive of Vi, you've got the shield from the Karma, you've got the heal coming out from the Senna, and then you've also got the Locket. Like, it's just shields on shields on shields on shields, and it feels like that they can actually survive that initial wombo combo burst, and then they just win the extended fight. So, GIANTX, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board because it feels like that this is Mad Lions' game to lose.
And how would they lose it? Like, it would be a throw of monumental proportions. It's not. I don't even think it can just be GIANTX playing well anymore. I think it has to be MDK making a few mistakes. Maybe there's a 500 gold bounty on Supa. There's 300 on Alvaro. Maybe they overstep a little bit. Maybe that's what's happening right now as Alvaro trying to get away from this. Lands the knock-up onto Patrik with the depth charge. Hook goes wide, though. MDK now stepping forward. Jackie's in a good position. Control ward in the bush means he hasn't been seen as of yet. No, I think he may have walked past some minions in the mid lane, so they would know that he's on his way. Elyoya trying to flank from the top side.
But look at the control they have. They've created a line in GIANTX's jungle. Observers highlighting for us now. There is that one ward around the Baron, but Mad Lion's Koi forced GIANTX out of their side of the jungle, and they're just clearing out the vision. If you want to step up, you're going to pay for it.
Odoamne is taking damage, even though that magic damage shield still sitting pretty on him. He's down below half. Supa, the Dawning Shadow coming out as Odoamne is forced away. Already Patrik down again. That's his 5th death out of 11 for the team. MDK.
That's going to be a Baron, I think.
Yeah, can just turn towards the Baron,
There
as
are
you say.
TPs available on both Jackies and Odoamne, but even if they do flank, what are they going to achieve with it? The Baron now being started.
I mean, do you flank just so maybe Peach can get in? I think that might be the play. TP behind, all out the jungler out. Odoamne could look.
You think Peach is getting in?
Peach was trying, but he can't get close enough. Rotten to the core this game from GIANTX as Peach is forced away. At the moment, that pit doing a little bit of work as Peach not gobbled out, but Fresskowy will kill him off in the end. Another kill in the books for MDK. The Baron still being done by Supa and Myrwn. And 21 minutes in, it's a Baron buff. It is a 9,000 gold lead, and it is an absolute demolition here from Mad Lion's Koi.
12 kills to 0. They've lost 3 towers, but I have to say it again. A flawless game from Mad Lion's Koi. I have seen... I mean, maybe there are mistakes that I didn't comment on, but what an incredible game from them. The fact that they've bounced back from their performance against Fnatic from last week. Like, they had a very close nail-biter game against Fnatic, which they just fell short on at the very end. But this is very clean stuff, and this is exactly what you want to be seeing from a team after they've spent the week going back to the drawing board and figuring out how they want to change here in the lower bracket of the playoffs.
I think it's also the polar opposite of how their Fnatic series went. That was a very messy series. There were lots of skirmishes, there were lots of fights. Here, MDK have just suffocated GIANTX out of the game. There's been nothing that GX have been able to do. Inhibitor now falling in the mid lane, already bot lane inhib down. Still 90 seconds before that one respawns. Next wave in about 20 seconds will crash towards that top lane inhibitor tower. Hex flash forwards by IgNar, but he can't get close enough to really do any work. Elyoya now sinking that wave in the bottom lane. Double supers on their way. Mid lane wave about to die as only the cannon will survive. Myrwn pushes in top. There's the knockup with the depth charge. Patrik forced back underneath his Nexus towers. IgNar forced back down to half HP. That cow getting absolutely boiled by MDK. Odoamne tries to step forward, rooted up, locked up, taken out as he's forced back to the fountain. That's 3 inhibitors at 23 minutes. Jackie is now just absolutely deleted, and the bullet time can buy you a second. But it's Agent Smith winning this one, Patrik. MDK just wipe away GIANTX once again. They're tanking the towers, and those towers won't last for much longer as the Nexus tower's down, 15 kills to nil. A demolition by Mad Lion's Koi.
An exquisite performance from Mad Lion's Koi. You mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again. 0 deaths for Mad Lion's Koi. GIANTX, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board as we go to a quick break.
Wow, this is amazing.
I mean, I had a break, so... do you want to try? I'll be right back.
I want to try. Me? Maybe. What am I gonna do?
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
Wow, Vedi! Incroyable, magnifique. What? No, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, keep it. He was so good.
Yours was better.